Taking on the previous champions is CLOUD9. This is by far the biggest challenge yet, and they already made a statement with their 2-0 win over Loud, but there's still so much to prove, and they have the opportunity to do so right here, right now. This is a new and improved C9 that has shown they can swap things up and adapt when things aren't going their way, and that will be the winning condition going against such a play-by-the-book team like G2.
Yeah, they've already proved themselves, proved that those stand-ins are only adding success to this team. Penny and Zelsis really proving themselves and proving that they can fit in with an already solid core. Just hoping to see how Coach Imi and Zelsis work together to really develop that strat book. And against NRG especially, do they have a lot of those counter plays? They know how they play. They've seen how this 4 players kind of go around it. So is it going to be enough to beat them on the stage?
And I think if you're a CLOUD9 fan, you're very excited about this team.
And now it's time to bring out their opponents. It is your 2025 World Champions, NRG!
And here come the world freaking champions. These guys who have defied it all, led by the gentle giant himself, Mata. This guy, an absolute beast in the server, continuing to prove why he belonged on that world stage. But let's not forget about Scuba as well. Let's not forget about Brock, our MVP. I mean, guys, we're talking about just an absolute top-to-bottom juggernaut of a squad.
I mean, last year, Mata had an insane amount of aces in just Americas itself, and he had so much to prove. But again, does that pressure get to you? Because NRG now, they have such a big name to hold up for themselves.
I don't know. Honestly, like, having talked to Mata the amount of times and worked with him, and the confidence from that guy alone.
But you throw a rookie into that.
That's true. But Kiko, though,
not a rookie.
Not a rookie. And Kiko has had some success, obviously, in EMEA. So it does feel like, Athena, we're looking at an NRG team that should be coming into this one with all the confidence in the world, and rightfully so. Yeah,
I mean, Kiko even talked in that interview that he wasn't a one-to-one exact fit to Sam. So I'm interested to see how they play around that. But the maps, Pearl, Breeze, and Bind. Dude, this Breeze by NRG actually surprised me, but Pearl, I think, makes sense for C9.
No, I for sure think it does, because I think they're going to come in strong with a playbook and have a set game plan going into it, and I think that NRG will kind of have a little bit of a tough time kind of adapting to that.
Do you think they're going to counter them the whole time, or do you think
they're going to try, but it just depends on how well they're able to do that.
Yeah.
Counter C9 on Pearl. I mean, do they need to, though? I guess is what I'm wondering.
C9's old Pearl last year was phenomenal. That was probably one of their best maps, in my opinion. And here, they just added a whole nother level to that with the Zelsis on the IGL, being the person that can kind of take them out of rut when things aren't going their way.
Yeah, I feel like, too, we talked about Vic a lot earlier, so being able to anchor those sites on Pearl is going to be super, super important, because, of course, NRG, we're looking at explosive executes. We're looking at ping-ponging on either side of the map, getting a lot of that information to the IGL, making sure that they're executing off of a timing, and they're really, really good at changing up their pace. I mean, the only real anomaly here for NRG is seeing how Kiko is and seeing how they change their game plans to be around
if they changed it, right? Or if he integrated more so into it, or if it's
earlier, Emily pointed out that he was usually a duelist player, so going into that control role maybe might be a little weird, but this comp makes a lot of sense. The Tejo from Zeppa I really like.
You like the Tejo?
I like it.
Okay.
I doubted it yesterday.
Yeah, you did doubt it yesterday.
I doubted it yesterday, and I shouldn't have, because it actually was insane. A lot of post plants playing off is super, super annoying to play against.
Really
Retaking against this comp is insane.
That on top of the Asher utility that's already used in standard post plants, I could see them definitely trying to run down the clock here.
Yeah, it does feel like the name of the game is going to be just drain that clock, prevent your opponent from being able to get comfortable on those setups and post plants, but we're seeing something similar on the other side as well here.
Yeah, I think Mata on the Waylay makes sense, trying to get a lot of that map control really quickly and being able to fall back, but they are lacking the stun that we liked from the Neon.
No, we are for sure, and I think with these two comps, there's going to be a lot of touch and go, like you were kind of saying.
All right, folks, this is it. Let's see our world champions take to the stage, and let's get this one started. Send a big old 6-7 through your caster. Here's Mimi and Ender. I killed it, yes!
6-7.
absolutely despicable work from Golden Boy. We've got a treat. We're going to move on past that because NRG take to the stage in the VCT scene for the first time since lifting that Champions Trophy just a few months ago, heading up against a C9, fresh off a win 2-0 on Loud.
And there's a bit of a curse with Champions winners. No team that has won champs has gone into the next year fully together to return to Champions. NRG, they've already had to make one roster change, but they're trying to break that curse and show that they can not only continue the success at Champions, but show that here in Americas, something that they couldn't do last year despite their victory in Paris.
And you know, NRG, they did play in one major tournament in the offseason. Red Bull Homeground made it all the way to the finals, but ultimately fell 3-0 to G2. That's the only tape we've seen on them, and it's been a month since then. So plenty of time for them to work out the kinks and get ready, geared up for this kickoff season.
And that's against the CLOUD9 with a chip on their shoulders. Their deepest playoff run ever ended by NRG last year.
Well, NRG are going to be starting things off into mid here on Pearl. Very quick work out of them. Mata already diving up and in. Stuffed for a moment right behind the other side of a smoke as C9 gear up for a refight themselves. Kiko gets his first kill on American soil here as the fight continues into Art. NRG pulling around the corners. Vic turns on a dime. A beautiful shot out from him. NRG continue to equalize, though, and come up by one.
But now they have options. NRG still with a minute 15 and a player advantage have time to slow this round down. Question marks still exist on the map. They never saw Penny, but they can expect that he was the anchor towards B. And with that knowledge, they'll work back towards B long and try and group for a 3-player hit.
Penny needs to go on a little bit of a mission right now. C9 down a number, need to separate, find out what information they can, see if they can get a pick at the same time, but NRG, by grouping together, are not giving any opportunities over.
Think about how many question marks there still is, though. All of Art was open through mid. Cloud9 has to re-clear all of that, and only now might be starting to consider this B-long execute.
Well, Penny has found himself in exactly the right position. 30 seconds left. And the plant is going to pull one member to put the spike on the ground. That gives him opportunities to isolate his fights. Here's the first. But doesn't bite just yet, realizing his teammate is so far away, and with that smoke in his way, he doesn't have a chance.
And with no smokes for NRG, Cloud9 are full playing for long. The only salvation would be this flank from Zelsis, and it's already gone.
Shut down immediately. Penny's got right in front of the turret. A little bit funky. He knows the position of one player. Can anticipate the second. Good work from him on the first, but Brock secures 3 kills on the round and the pistol for NRG.
Brock did great work towards the end of the round, but I think the credit for that one actually being a success has to go to Kiko. As soon as this pinch started to come on through, Cloud9 immediately recognized the win condition, which was to break out. They either had to fight through mid or fight back in to the middle of the map and take some kind of ground to avoid that pinch. They tried to commit into mid, but Kiko, with that kill in the 1-on-2, shut down that opportunity and meant that his teammates could arrive and win that pinch and succeed in the fight.
Good setup and fight over mid out from NRG. Is going to force C9 onto full pistols, no investment whatsoever out of them. While NRG are relatively light, all things considered. 2 Vandals, a Stinger, and just pistols on top of that. So C9, maybe they can use bodies here to pick up a few guns. That's going to be the hope from them as Oxy goes diving forward. Rock tries to hold down the line, and he does so until he runs out of bullets, and that's a problem. The spike is on the ground. C9 have found themselves in a 3-on-3, and Penny secures the rifle.
And that is big. But a flank already coming in from NRG. Ethan, with the Sheriff in hand, has worked his way all the way through long, but now he's at the disadvantage against this rifle.
C9 making the choice to give up the spike a little bit, hanging out on long. Penny patrolling long as he hears the drone creep forward. NRG have very few tools to actually go for the retake. 2 pieces of utility. They need some nice shots. And they need to not take too much time. Ethan's out in the open here as a double swing comes in. Good first connection. As at the same time as he gets those kills, the rest of NRG picked up the spike, making a hightail over towards A.
30 seconds left.
And Penny back in that 1v3 position. Ethan taken low. And as that kill comes in, he's given himself a 1-on-2 now.
Look at the positioning from NRG. Mata is waiting in mid. Hard reading Penny's rotation and now hearing it.
Here's the footsteps. He is just a sentry. right in the corner. No way Penny's going to be clearing that angle. A little bit dicey, but NRG take it all the same.
It ends up with basically the same scenario 2 rounds in a row, where a pinch is coming through from NRG. They only have 1 player on the side, and Cloud9 is desperately trying to fight out of that pinch. And somehow Ethan, from this spot, getting 2 kills, saves a round that was looking so nightmarish for NRG.
Not just the kills, but just the time he took to allow his teammates to go in and have that secret mission to secure the spike. Works out in a big way, and, well, bad news for Cloud9. Brock's got his gun, Mimi.
Yeah, he does, and if you watch Champs, you know that NRG are a big light armor team. They like investing into these bonus rounds. They'll have full guns here.
Another split look is a dash into street. Only 2 players from NRG working down long, and Scuba just lights out on these opening shots. Zeppa will try and hold the fort all on his own as the hindrance deters him not to be slowed down whatsoever. A 2-on-2 now with the spike so far back into long gives time now for Kiko to wait and see if C9 will pounce.
Well, it's still a powerful position up towards heaven. C9 don't want to make the first move. Both teams holding in this standoff.
It's awkward for NRG too because they don't have any smoke, so right now Brock doesn't feel so good about walking down through B long without having coverage on heaven.
The longer they wait, the greater the threat of a rotation back towards A, but Cloud9 are happy to hold here. They plan A, you retake 2-on-2.
NRG are allowing this mid-round to just freeze once again. It's been a little pattern for them so far, but it's going to put them in an awkward position. Less than 30 seconds left on the clock.
Brock will have that dart back soon.
Not ready yet.
Brock will have the Hunter's Fury off of this spike plant, though. See if that comes into play. C9 choose to approach on the floor level. Kiko doesn't know that. As Brock escapes, Kiko sees the first barrel and now realizes both players. That sets up for the Hunter's Fury, and Kiko pulls it off. 3 in a row for NRG.
The new addition to NRG, a player who maybe didn't get to show everything he had to offer in his one off-season showing, arrives to Americas and delivers on the bonus round. This was another round that was so close to flipping away from NRG. Zeppa, I mean, you think back to last year, kickoff, where Zeppa had an absolute master of a performance to beat NRG there. Trying to put that on again here, but not enough in round 3.
Yeah, you'd think 3 kills would have been enough, but turns out it is not, with NRG fully investing into that round after only taking 2 rifles in the previous. Sets themselves up beautifully for the rest of this half.
We really saw the attack side calling develop throughout stage 2 and through champions for Ethan as the leader of NRG. And I think something that's always characterized NRG, even when it was Finesse leading the team in the past, was how good they are at taking those mid-round freezes that you're talking about. Knowing when to take that tactical pause, wait for your opponent to take the move before you actually activate. They're a very patient team, and that's showing through already here on Pearl.
And that also benefits them a lot when they find themselves in anti-ecos or numbers up situations. You'll very rarely see them tossing away those easy to win rounds.
And finding a completely open B helps in this anti-eco.
Very likely C9 just go ahead and choose to die to the spike here, all things considered. Especially because C9 are pretty close to some ults. Actually, you could make an argument for someone like Vic or Zeppa to go in there and try to just pick up an orb themselves. Certainly taking their time here. Trying to figure out what exactly is going to happen. Vic and Zeppa will be leading the charge while the rest of the team is going to die to the spike. So perfect out of C9 there to get those ultimates in a completely unwinnable round.
They've traded for getting Mod a bit closer to his, but an all right outcome for them.
What do you say, Drone?
Now C9 have to look ahead. Their first rifle round, and something that I thought was really strong from them when they were playing against Loud was a lot of their defensive-sided, aggressive looks. They have a lot of ideas to leave a solo anchor, normally Penny when he's holding this chamber, and push Oxy into one of these extremities. most of the time it's not a complete hard hit where they're spamming util at the beginning, but they have a lot of great ideas for how to contact into space and have a bit of a deeper trap play set up than you might expect.
Yeah, extra layers on top of all that. So C9 will be calling a timeout to discuss the opening to the round, to discuss those layers, as you're mentioning. I think one of the big factors heading into this next round is you highlighted Penny. Well, Penny saved up enough money for the operator, so very likely we do end up seeing him left on his own to his own devices.
And those are the rounds where these kind of 4-1s or 1-1-3s are really good because that op is just so stalwart at holding down alone. Part of that piece, though, beyond just the strategy, is getting Oxy activated. 0-3 right now. The desk was talking about how NRG in some ways lost their kind of vibes guy, their energy sink in Som, and are having to fill that gap. I think you look over at Cloud9, and Oxy's always been that guy. Obviously, you have Zelsis on the team now.
I thought that's
so
where you were going.
that helps out a bit further, but he had to be the man to lift them through, especially that run in the playoffs last year with his own energy.
Yeah, they've got the energy, and according to Zeppa, they've also got the nepotism. So they have everything going for them.
The 2 things you need.
That's all you need in an esports org to succeed. We'll see if that ends up being true. Right now, it's not working out for them up against the champs.
Here you see it.
Little dash in from Mata. Oxy taking a little into his own hands there. And he spotted Ethan as well. Eventually traded as the rest of C9 were playing pretty far back. Means we're playing this without a duelist.
Cloud9 back away, and NRG happy to hold on to A main for now.
Yeah, the thing is, both duelists down, that is going to favor the defending team.
For sure.
NRG no longer having that dive ability to get into a site.
So if you're NRG now, you want to start to think about how you can activate a lurk. Maybe get that Astra some space in mid, find a second avenue of approach to this site, so you're not just having to send it through main without a dive character.
Scuba really hasn't done all too much. He hears that trip over on street right now, so he knows he can't go into there. That means someone is very likely patrolling Art. So he might end up making the decision to go for the 1v1.
And that would be big if he kills Vic. Smokes down, losing out on that Cosmic Divide for Cloud9.
Ooh, that knife catching the Tejo. Only one, though. Isn't nearly enough. Tejo could have been a fake on this side, but again, NRG are really winding down the clock, and with multiple ultimates available for Cloud9, this is going to be a big problem. How do you get out of this choke point without a duelist? How do you make it happen? It is not going to happen. Zeppa collecting on 2. That spike down in the open, and Scuba a little bit too late to the party through Art will go down 3 again out of Zeppa.
I think Ethan thought that calling that bit of a pause would be enough to pull 1 or 2 of these players off of that A site, go back to work through mid, but it just doesn't happen. With their chamber op and trip still active, Cloud9 is so comfortable leaving that A stack intact, and without a dive whatsoever, it's basically impossible to get through that choke.
Yeah, C9 do well there not to over-rotate or get lost in the quiet, in the suspense of the mid-round, but might have an idea to increase the tempo here. 4 players geared up in mid out of C9 as NRG go for similar ideas on A.
You see Oxy walk up, ready to take contact. Lots of initiator utility behind him.
I mean, ultimately, C9 realized there is a lockdown on the other side of things, so it can very easily be used to take A control. The question is, do C9 then threaten to break this turret in mid and look for a flank? Do they look to just come back quickly through Art?
It's also kind of the standoff, because with Teo ult in play, there's always that risk factor to putting down the lockdown. There is an easy counter if your opponent is hard anchoring.
You don't even necessarily have to kill the lockdown either. You could just put down the Tejo ult as that lockdown expires, and you know the enemy team is going to be trying to come through the choke point. It's perfect stall there is, again, NRG chew up a whole lot of the clock. Gear back towards B.
No embed left towards A, so they don't have a lot of options. And with Cloud9 playing heavy for mid, these rotates will be quick.
Vic is going to get his first indication of some players on this side. Chooses to get up close and personal. Right on the other side of the smoke. Hiding from the duelist, stunned up and taken down. The rest of C9 all coming in through street. Stalled out for the time being, without a fight coming their way. And as the shock darts rain down, it's an ultimate, taking a kill in long. C9 making quick work back into the site as Zeppa again delivers for Cloud9. NRG try to extract themselves from halls. All out in the open 3 again. Is it enough? That's the question. And so often it is not. NRG get another.
2 rounds for Cloud9 where Zeppa gets a 3K and they can't close it out. That was so close for C9. The ultimate towards Long was perfect to catch Kiko in rotation. He wanted to back away and have that lockdown in the post line if things didn't go his way. But that next layer from NRG is perfect. Look at the way that they swing out here together. Just all 3 players posturing for the fight, knowing that if they hold back, they're just going to get ran over by utility. And they win a very important round. The buy here is weird for Cloud9.
Kind of has been this way the whole game for C9. Little all over the place, a whole lot of saves so far. Penny does have the operator, has a very forward posting down on B long. So that's going to cause his 2 initiators to rotate back towards the A site. See if they get here quickly enough. But NRG are not going to waste their time at all. Oxy in the center of this site with the Bucky and shot in the back of the head. Mata takes a shot before sliding on back. That's an easy take from NRG.
And again, the lockdown is available in the post line if they need it. This is a very good position for NRG to be in. C9 have got to move quick.
And just throwing down this lockdown, the same time the divide cuts apart the site. Putting a lot of pressure in. C9 playing for this is a little bit surprising. Looking for the half stick here before the lockdown expires, and as C9 getting kills, they might go for a little bit more, but 3 players detained. It's a disaster for Cloud9. How in the world did they think they had time for that? Brock wipes the floor with them.
A second away from success, but it ends in disaster again for C9. I want to see just how close that got. Really down to the wire. And it's easy pickings for Brock after the lockdown. I felt like that call came just a second too late. They saw the lockdown. You saw some of the players hesitate for a moment.
That's so free!
Then they went for it with just not enough time.
It's hard to keep track of everything because there were a couple of C9 players in backside. Not fully able to cover, and well, Oxy is gonna run back into main at C9 on no buy at all this round. Seeing what they can do with Penny's up in the mix of things, and this heavy stack back in A main. NRG have loved this area of the map, and Mata's just on a scouting mission. These pistols tear NRG to shreds. It continues. Vic is lethal on the bandit. And now in a 2-on-4. Kiko needs to do a little bit extra. It won't be there. 4 for Vic. He's a madman.
Outrageous reply of a round. You lose to a second and just run it down A main and win it out. I mean, it was so close to this utility actually taking down the C9 players back in that corner, but it just feasts instead. Like a bit of an overcommitment for NRG. They full read that they could hit into A site, and with still time and options, even after seeing 3, they just decide to continue instead of bailing out of that one.
So a little bit of a bounce back from C9. Breath of fresh air.
It's truly a lifeline, though. They're going to have an ult back again for Penny. They'll have guns. They'll have ults. This is their chance to rebuild this defender half.
Maybe one of the first opportunities for Penny to really play the game with this operator. NRG getting ready for his side of the map. But the drone has an idea of him. Forces him back 1 line at a time. Another drone. This double scout setup from NRG is brutal to try and op into. And as the smokes and the ults and all the utility just pummels the site, that'll be free for NRG.
C9 had players in position to flood, but they couldn't with the utility.
Wow.
That was a null command pop. They'll have to fight, but NRG is at the doorstep, ready to hold.
Brock Center's Fury got canceled out by the KO ult. And now the flash into Scuba, trying to escape. Somehow he's still alive. Oxy creeping back into the site, a stun, trying to give him some idea, but these smokes are stalling everything. NRG have escaped with 4 players alive. And now C9 need to play these high lines, need to find some kills. Not gonna happen. When you look at Brock, he's gonna shut you down. And now these shots are just not connecting. NRG are just playing with C9 at this point. Penny's gonna teleport away and hold on to the op.
This game has been defined by a lot of very slim split-second decisions. And I think consistently when they're under pressure, we're seeing NRG make the right decision. In previous rounds, it was staying and fighting deep on site. Here, it was taking the slim opportunity they actually had to escape and get out to long and full committing to that. Great work from them, balancing the utility.
Ethan's disgusting. Ethan's disgusting.
And he is.
I can't.
Honest words out from Mata. And honestly, when you think about it, those B-long fights, even going back to the round 2, where Ethan had a Sheriff versus a Vandal, and he's winning out in those fights as well.
I really want to see someone in this lobby buy an Outlaw, because everyone is a half armor player here on both teams. I think it was one of the big things people were looking at after Champs, that not a lot of teams bought Outlaw into NRG when they have half armor pretty much every round.
Yeah, NRG, or C9 doing the same thing. Brock's the only guy on 50 right now. And NRG split up the site, dive on forward. That is a waylay with the spike, planting in the pocket of the wall before retreating back to main. And as Oxy falls as well, there's just 5 alive, but already the defuse, a half stick behind the wall. That is major. Zeppa can get back on this. NRG are realizing they have to get back in front of this wall. There's not a lot of time as C9 lose a member. Smoke expires. Zeppa on top of everything. It has the Armageddon. He is ready to cause havoc on this site. Zeppa needs 3 again if C9 want to win this round. He's being asked way too much, and 3 again is not enough.
3 3Ks, 3 losses for Zeppa and Cloud9. Another heartbreaker that's just a hair away. But NRG, I love this little strat. He's going directly into the pocket, and even though he dies to it, I think that is the right call for Zelsis to try and greed the half stick. It forced NRG into what should have been an unadvantageous fight. But again, the synergy in these team fights is what's winning it for NRG. There's an Outlaw finally for Scuba. They'll do well against 5 half armors on C9.
Yeah, NRG is starting to clue into that. But it's another heavy mid setup out of C9. They've really liked with the flash over the top. The hindrance, though, is just too perfect. Very good control, and Kiko again for an opener. Now as the slide comes through, Zeppa gets a couple before being shut down. These other 2 members of C9 just not really in the party just yet. Mata's still there.
How's he alive?
And
How
ready
is
to
he
dash
alive?
on away. It's just silly, isn't it?
And now a 3-on-1 retake for Vic. But already being held by an Outlaw close. Should be checkmate.
And it is. 9-2 for NRG. That is certainly a way to enter 2026.
That interaction in mid was so silly. Both duelists from either team just stunned maybe 18 times in their respective corners. But by the time a fight is actually taken, it is Mata feasting.
I can't believe he got out there, Adam. What the fuck?
Me too. In the game against Loud, it was an outrageous amount of moments where Oxy was getting away with murder with his Neon ult, where he was winning rounds single-handedly with that. Here, he has been shut down completely. 2-10 for C9 Star.
And again, the most scuffed by for C9. Knife spots a couple of players back in A main. C9 choose to leave Oxy posted up with the judge, call 3 into Art. But C9 have never really found a consistent answer into this A side of the map. Maybe it could be Vic. Maybe it could be Oxy. Some spam peppers him down to 33, and he is out. NRG are just way too aware of all these corners. Exactly which walls to spam through, which smokes to take care of, and it again sets themselves up for a hugely advantaged post plant.
An ultimate on Ethan as well. So brutal for these last 2 players to get back in. They need this round desperately despite the odds.
All the stall utility, and there's still more left in the tank.
And time is ticking. That Armageddon waiting in the wings.
Yep, Brock just has a little pixel there. The second he sees a difference in color, unloads bullets through the wall, charges on in with the shorty as well. Beautiful play from Brock there, and 10 for NRG in the first.
Yeah, 17-5 for your Champs MVP on his return to American soil. NRG ran loops around them.
So cringe, bro. It's actually so cringe, bro.
Self-diagnosed.
Yeah, is he talking about his Odin and Shorty? Like, is that what we're doing there?
It's good to have self-awareness. You reflect on that when we take our halftime break.
Well, it was a stunning start here in the first half for NRG, leading 10-2 at the half. Brock putting on an absolute masterclass. Again, picking up right where he left off, Mimi.
Yeah, this looks like NRG have not skipped a beat. The team fighting was on point in that first half. The macro was very good, and even when it wasn't, they were just bailing themselves out of rounds regardless. So C9 now in a brutal position. Their map pick here on Pearl, and a pistol round that they absolutely have to win if they want a chance at coming back.
For C9, I think the biggest thing on their minds is let's send some help to Zeppa. Man's been trying out there. I think 4 3Ks?
Something
maybe
like that.
Maybe 5?
At least 3, 4, I don't know. It's been ridiculous.
And only resulting in 2-round wins for Cloud9.
Something about him in these games against NRG. He activates.
Right there.
But can it be enough this half?
Need to start things on the pistol where NRG have really good information. Forward position in A main, seeing nothing. High-low setup off of the turret, ready to play into Art. And that comes after a litany of utility. Kiko getting the first time. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. It's 2 more for Brock. And C9 have gone nowhere.
There was just so perfect. The hinder coming through is the first layer, and immediately a deeper stun from Ethan, followed by his missiles, completely traps those players from Cloud9.
I love it too. Just how much they shrink on the map, right? You know,
Yep.
NRG up 5-2. They fully give up B site. They're just got 3 players hanging out in spawn. They're so excited to buy guns for the next round.
And something tells me they're going to be able to win a 5-on-2 retake when their opponent has no smokes.
Just letting C9 sit with their decisions
30
they've made.
seconds left.
The results of their actions for a little bit. A little surprised not to see Penny hunting a little bit more now.
He's thinking about it.
Yeah, both
We'll
of
wait
them.
for Zeppa to clear, but they don't have much time to run back and plant that spike.
Nah, they're going to peek for 1 kill. They're not even going to peek this deep, I don't think. Penny does,
remaining.
as his teammate falls away from him. And Zeppa will get 1 before going down. Ultimately, a beautiful pistol round out of NRG.
And that ends up even worse, because in losing that round, they don't get a spike down. You would think down 11-2, you might want to try and force this round.
Yeah.
Now that decision becomes a lot tougher to stomach.
That is so grim. They were trying to play to win the round, which is commendable, to be fair. Like, you kind of need to get a pick or 2 before you get the spike down if you want to have a chance in the post, but it does come at the cost of a weaker chance here, and that's something you almost never see. The round 2 timeout.
Yeah. And I think it's exactly discussing whether to force or not and what to do in that direction.
Yeah, they got to force, you have to imagine. The thing is, Imi just had 2.5 minutes to chat to his team between halves, right?
It makes you think there's something he heard that he just didn't like.
Yeah.
Wants to get his word in.
Not too many chances left here, and also not anything to go off of either, right? It's not like you can anti-NRG too heavy off of 1 round.
No. Looking over for a second to the side of NRG. It reminds me a lot of watching Red Bull Homeground, where I haven't really noticed Kiko. And I think that's a good thing, actually, that he is seemingly slotting in very well. Their setups are still running. Their macro is very good. He's had a couple individual rounds. I think back all the way to the first half pistol, where he was paramount with that 2K in mid to get them that round win.
One thing I was surprised with, he got he got a few actually opening kills on the Killjoy when C9 were running those more aggressive looks. His contain ideas where he's just on his own holding or covering a teammate's back. Got 2 or 3 of those in the first half.
I think Decellis did. His mechanics have been very good, but he hasn't been greedy in any way to show that.
Very good plug and play for NRG so far. Well, of course, if this were to be Red Bull Homeground, then C9 would come back and win this map.
I don't know about that one. We'll see. He would have to start with a win on this scuffed by force.
Well, Ethan pushed back just a little bit. Choosing to allow C9 in. Make them feel a little bit more comfortable for the time being before going for that swing to pounce. That's exactly what Kiko's looking for. Takes Penny down a little bit low, but again, Art control has been seeded.
Look how disciplined NRG is. They're just going to fall away, play together on these angles, and be happy with what they have.
It's actually Mata who's a little bit isolated. Outline hand. Calls in some reinforcements as Kiko will also go ahead and join him. But C9, really, they're just kind of waiting and hoping that someone on NRG is going to take a more forward line, but what it's doing is eating up so much time. Down to 45 seconds left. And Oxy with a shotgun is on the lurk duty.
Maybe wants to sell a fake or Just try and work a lurk. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising. The suppression stops Brock from throwing out the dart.
Here comes the missiles.
But there is going to be another layer for that. And C9 want to move back into Oxy, who just revealed himself. So now already you have ideas. NRG start to rotate
Mod
towards
is
B.
still here with an outlaw, though. There's a turret to bullet tag and stall.
It's just full awareness out from NRG. C9 tried to get a little bit creative. Tried to throw some kind of a loop into the mix, but it's not going to pay off for them whatsoever. That's a flawless round 2, and Mimi, only one player on NRG even took damage.
Match point.
Oof.
Oh, almost done.
The issue is they wanted to try and call a pivot, but Mata was just there the entire time. He spotted Oxy early. Oxy was making his presence known.
10 seconds left.
Wow.
And so he was there in position with the help of Timmy to lock it down.
Kills, man! Like every time I shot somebody, they died.
You're winning 12-2. You have little problems that become a little bit bigger when you're dominating this hard. Understandably so.
He's trying this again. They've been wanting Ethan, but they haven't gotten him.
Well, Kiko there with another opening frag. And NRG with another disgusting round. Absolutely blowing up Cloud9. Zelsis gets 3. Hold on.
I'm holding.
Don't hold on too tightly, but a light grip is what the doctor ordered here, and let go. 13-2 domination from the reigning champs.
That was a brutal game. Nothing worked for Cloud9. Multiple rounds with 3Ks with chances. They couldn't close out the close rounds. And in the second, NRG didn't give them a single close round. This is what you expect when the world champ comes home.
Yeah, that looked like riding a bike. Absolutely simple.